Minister, I want to raise this morning very serious concerns that I have about Kerry University Hospital and health services in general in County Kerry. As you may or may not be aware, since the first week in June of this year, all scheduled operations at Kerry University Hospital have been cancelled. The only operations that take place are actually emergency operations. So to put this in a simple format to you, if a person is waiting for hip or knee operations or any other scheduled operations, waiting, they are left. And I think this is a disgrace at a time when I'm terribly worried about the future status of the hospital, despite the assurances given last week at a meeting where it was stated that we would retain our university status. The ever-increasing departure of consultants and what I would consider the downgrading on a continuous basis by management of the HSE of our hospital, that leaves me extremely worried. I just want to use the opportunity to compliment the hard-working staff, the people in A&E, the people on the wards, who, when a patient is in front of them, they do everything they can to help those patients. And anybody that avails of the service are grateful and are thankful for the individuals who are working there. But I've marched with these people, for example, from A&E, who quite simply say they want government to wake up and to realise the pressure that they are under. The nurses, the doctors working in the A&E departments, I've been in there late at night, I've been in there early in the morning, I used the summer opportunity to be there a lot because I wanted to see and understand firsthand what is going on inside there, and I do understand it fully, and I have a perfect understanding of the difficulties and the pressures that they are under. But what I'm asking is, does the Minister for Health understand that? And this whole idea, and it was set up here many years ago, this idea of, well, the Minister for Health doesn't actually have responsibility for health. That is rubbish. The buck stops with the Minister. The buck for health stops with the government, and not with the HSE and this hiding behind layers and layers of bureaucracy. That has to end. People have to take responsibility. If you have the title of Minister for Health and if people are waiting endlessly for operations, you have to take responsibility for that. You have to sit down with the heads of the different departments and you have to say, right, what can we do to tackle this problem? I want to give you an example. Why is it, or how is it, that a person who is waiting to have their tonsils removed will have to wait for 3 years as it stands right now? And at the same time, if a person will present today and say, I want my tonsils removed, I can arrange for them to be removed in Belfast in the month of November, in the first couple of weeks of November. For God's sake, this is not outer Mongolia or somewhere like that when it comes to health. We shouldn't be saying to people here, well, we'll fix your tonsils and we'll do it in 3 years' time. Anybody that knows how uncomfortable it is to have a problem in that department, they'll know that it's ridiculous to be told you have to wait for 3 years. And can you please explain to me why this is being allowed to happen under all of your watch?
Minister Doherty, please.
Thanks, Ken Corlett. The other esteemed deputy from Kerry raised Kerry local hospital yesterday and was invited by the Taoiseach because the Taoiseach didn't have specific information on Kerry yesterday to come and meet him. I don't have specific information today, but I will extend on the Taoiseach's behalf that invitation to you to maybe join with your brother to come and meet the Taoiseach and indeed the Minister for Health on that specific aspect. But to talk to you just in general terms, I mentioned earlier on that we're in a recovering economy and it's a good place to be, and it's because of that the government is investing in our health services and focusing on the improving needs, building capacity and investing in infrastructure and indeed the new GP contract and delivering a transformational 10-year reform programme based on the all-party report that came from that came from the all-party committee. We're building new major infrastructure like the National Children's Hospital, the new maternity hospital, and I think it's these new facilities are going to be a hallmark of a modern health system. Capital funding has been been committed in the National Development Plan to deliver 2,600 additional hospital beds, 4,500 additional community care beds recommended by the capacity review, and 3 new elective hospitals. And some, if not a lot of those, have to feed in to your county that you represent to improve the outcomes for the patients and the people who are living in your county. So again, can I say to you, the invitation stands. Please bring the specific information with regard to the details that you've talked about from Kerry Hospital to the attention of the Minister and the Taoiseach, and I'm sure he'll be happy to.
Minister, Deputy Healy-Rae.
Well, I'm sorry, but your reply and the Taoiseach's reply are all outdated, because I have brought these problems to the attention of the Minister for Health. I have brought people up from Kerry, specialists, to sit down with him and to outline the problems that we have. And to date, the Minister, the Department and all of you have failed to do what you're supposed to do, and that is take care of sick people. Because at the end of the day, if we can't take care of people who are waiting to have knee operations, who are suffering distress, waiting for hips, and telling them they have to wait endlessly, only for the fact of the great service that is being provided through the treatment abroad, many people would be going blind. Last weekend, I arranged for 14 people in one bus to go up and have their operations for their cataracts, to have the cataracts removed. This is ridiculous to have to be doing that. It is great that the service is there, it is great to be able to avail of it, but now the story is, well, it's not just going to be cataracts, they'll have to go to get their tonsils, they'll have to go to get their hips, they'll have to go to get their knees. For God's sake, what are we going to tell sick people? Don't get sick in Ireland, you must travel up to the north, you have to go to hospitals above there to get your treatment.
Thank you,
it is absolutely ridiculous, and it is happening while all of you are in government, all of you are in your ministerial roles, and you're allowing this to happen.
Thank you, Deputy.
Wake up to the situation that we have on the ground, and please do something to help people who are ill.
Thank you, Deputy Minister, to conclude, please.
Thanks, Deputy. This is a national statistics, but it certainly comes from hospitals like your own. Cataract waiting lists have been reduced by 2,734 in the last year, and particularly 3,000 in the category of waiting over 9 months. There were 400 new beds introduced in the system between 2013 and 2017. There were 240 new beds introduced to the system last year. There is an extra 1.35 million allocated to a Healthy Ireland fund to enable and encourage people to actually mind themselves, as you probably facetiously expect people not to become sick. But it's to try and empower people to look after their good health, to make sure that they don't get sick. And those programmes are in place, yes indeed. There's an additional 7.10 million made for the improvement to our ambulance services. Indeed, GP training intake was up by 194, particularly in our rural GP practices. So we're planning for the future, we're investing in our future. And with respect, the only thing that we can do is to ensure that the money is there, that the programme and that the management is there within the HSE to provide for Irish citizens. That's what Sláintecare is doing. That's what the money that's going to be embedded and the personnel embedded to produce the roadmap for Sláintecare is doing. If I can finish, I've answered your question. I have answered your question. So I'll finish by saying, if you have specific concerns around Galway Hospital, I will invite you to attend the meeting with your brother, with the Taoiseach.
Thank you very much. Thank you.